Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clank Zoka, and welcome back to another My Thoughts on. Today, Spider-Man: Homecoming with the, I now would say, critically panned Venom. It is now out this week, and I have not heard good things about it. It's got last I checked, it's got like a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 33 out of 100 on Metacritic, and it's doing okay on IMDb, 7.1, which is not bad, but it doesn't look like it's doing well. Don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna go and see it. I'm gonna go in with an open mind and all that, but let's just say I'm kind of, sort of worried. But this is by Sony, and Venom is he's a Spider-Man villain, and I believe this is going to be in the same universe. And I'm not sure if this is after Infinity War or before. I think, and no spoilers in the comments, please. I think this is Venom's origin story, but I won't get into too much because we're going to talk about Spider-Man: Homecoming. Yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming, which was one of the bigger films from last year. This was a new film introducing a new Spider-Man played by Tom Holland. And here he's in high school, I believe it's high school, where he has a graduation for homecoming. And I mean, you know the drill. In school, he's basically Peter Parker, but out he is the Spider-Man. And not even his Aunt May knows, and he works for Tony Stark, played obviously by Robert Downey Jr., for the internship. So that means he got the suit in case stuff goes down, in case there are bad guys about. And what do you know? There are bad guys. One of them, named Adrian Toomes, or the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, has gathered up these weapon materials, these parts, and these like these leftover parts from the Avengers when the Avengers fought Loki and the giant mothership. They collect them and they scrap them and they use them to help families, let's say, but they create evil weapons to destroy the world and make more money, and they have to help their family. So that means Spider-Man has to save the day. But he has to do it without letting anyone know. Even if he does call Happy Hogan, played by John Farrow. Um, uh, he's the director of the Jungle Book. Yeah, who who's helping Tony move all his stuff to the new Avengers headquarters. So it'll be moving day. And yeah, you know where this is going. You got the main character who's trying to tell the other character what's going on. Then they have some characters who don't believe him, thinking that he's just snooping behind their back. And there's an obvious villain, there's an obvious twist. But for some reason, it works. It doesn't play out like it's a new cinematic universe. I mean, it is part of the MCU, but besides the ending, it doesn't set up for anything. It's just kind of its own film. This is not about Tony Stark. This is not about Happy Hogan. This is about Peter Parker. His life in school, his life as Spider-Man, his life with his Aunt May, and I will get more into that because that's kind of interesting. And he's got a little crush on this girl named Liz, and he's got a best friend named Ned, and I don't know why, but I find Peter Parker pretty damn relatable. I mean, yeah, most of the other Marvel characters can be considered relatable, but most of them are just kind of the same. But with Peter Parker, he's, and I quote, just a kid. Even though in this film he's 16. I don't know if that's Tom Holland's actual age, but if he's actually 16 as I'm recording this, or 17, and if I'm older than him, that'd be pretty weird, wouldn't it? But the film is executed, I will admit, even though this is not going to be criticism, it plays out exactly how the film would play out. It's cliched, but what do you expect from a Spider-Man film? Heck, I mean, most films I like have cliches, but they're done well and they take advantage from that. And this one, it does that as well, and I really enjoyed it. I like Spidey. I don't like calling him that, but just for this occasion, Spidey's journey about trying to stop the villain and also to graduate from high school. We don't have that here, so I don't know how that works. And it's really interesting and at the same time pretty funny. I mean, granted, it's not like Deadpool levels of hilarious, but it's kind of cute, funny, hilarious, and oh, I get that reference. It's it's like an action comedy. I wouldn't say drama, even though there is a bit of drama here, but it's mostly just kind of fun and it plays very well. And the plot, while not original, is you need a plot in a film that fits. You don't, even if it's cliched or predictable, you just need one that's fitting and it goes into what the character is about. In this case, a high school. I mean, yeah, you pretty much see what you expect. You have the bully, the love interest, the best friend, the one who doesn't always talk. You get that, but they're not the main focus, which I think is a pretty good thing in my opinion. And oh, it's so refreshing to see a Marvel film just be its own movie instead of setting up more and more and more films. I mean, granted, this one was for Infinity War and Far From Home. Into the Spider Verse does not count. But besides that, the film, while not original, not the best, it plays and executes it just how it's supposed to be, and I have no problem with that. It plays out like an actual Marvel film, an actual Spider Man film, like an actual interesting and relatable, and I'll even put in really funny, superhero movie. The visuals. Okay, this might sound a little crazy, but I think this is visually probably. No. This was the second best looking Marvel film. The first is Guardians of the Galaxy 1/2. Yes, I know they're both two different films, but they're both part of one. I wouldn't say franchise, but they're part of one universe, and they're both. You get what I'm getting at. They're both called Guardians of the Galaxy, but this second, look, I like the visuals of the Marvel films. Look, don't hate me for this, but Civil War I think just looked the most boring. Uh, Thor Ragnarok looked colourful, but nothing groundbreaking. It's just I love visuals, and this takes it to a whole new level of just normal. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just nice to see a Marvel film just look so average, normal, and you've been there before, but it doesn't play out like a superhero location. Like you got, I mean, yeah, I know a couple of other Marvel films did that, but they felt a little too average. This one felt average, but in a Spider-Man film, it's not saying much, but it's nice to see a Marvel film just look nice and look great. Actually, it kind of reminds me of The Incredibles and Incredibles 2, which is quite nice. And I know this about Spider-Man. Where you got a superhero who goes out in the day, and while he's not a superhero, he is at home in an ordinary town where not much happens. So, it's a good thing in my book. So, and it's not like a boring looking film. It actually looks great and it's very well shot, and it never actually bored me, which is another good thing. The Spider-Man suit is awesome. I mean, the gadgets on there and what he has to use, and the suit lady who he calls. Well, it's not going to be. Was well one. There was like one funny scene where he was going to call it Liz, but it felt a bit weird. But he called her Catherine, and that was a pretty cute joke, and it makes the suit look visually nice and look very very cool. When it comes to the fight scenes, they are pretty damn engaging and surprisingly comedic. A little bit of slapstick, but not like cartoony slapstick, but just kind of like like comedy slapstick, not the bad ones like flipping absolutely everything or uh, every other comedy you've seen besides the Edgar Wright films. It takes advantage of these cliches and what they're doing. They're just trying to have fun and just trying to create a relatable and emotional story and also a fun story as well. But with the visuals, they just make it look so normal that you don't. It doesn't try too hard to be. Doesn't try too hard to stand out from the other Marvel films. You don't need that. You just need to have a location, make it look and feel believable, and make it look cool and not boring. I've seen a lot of Sony films, and I know that most of them take place in New York, which I don't understand why, and they all just look the same. With this one, it takes place in Queens, which is where Spider-Man, or sorry, Peter Parker lives. It makes the film not only the best looking Sony live action film, but probably one of the better looking Sony live action films. Yeah, I know. I know it's a bit of a shock, but it's true. Even if it's by Marvel or not, it still counts. Even though it's not the best looking Marvel film, I would definitely say it's one of the better looking ones. At the same time, looking pretty damn cool. Beautiful, I suppose, but the spider suit, you gotta admit, it is pretty damn great. So yeah, not the best looking, one of Marvel's better looking films. Characters and acting. Let's start off with, of course, Spider-Man or Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland. What can I say about him? He's a really likable and relatable character, and he's pretty charming actually, thanks to Tom Holland, and I'll get to that. And when he becomes Spider-Man, he's not just like, oh, I can survive some wounds. I'm tough. I'm strong. He does mess up now and again because he's still. I don't know how long he's actually been doing it for. I think he's been doing it before the Civil War thing, but you can tell at times he's not perfect. He doesn't. When he gets wounded, it's not like a scratch. He actually feels pain because he is just a kid. And I like that. I like how he's trying to prove himself and trying to be a better hero and at the same time trying to stop what the heck is going on. I like that character and I think he's a very likable and very, very, very funny character thanks to, well, you know who, but I like him. I think he's probably one of my favourite characters in the MCU. I know it's from the comics, but I don't read comics, so, meow. Who else? We've got Tony Stark, who's barely in it, thank goodness. Not that I have anything against him, but I'm just kind of tired of him at this point. I mean, I'm sure he was. I don't remember. I know he was in Infinity War, but I don't remember if I liked him. I thought he was okay. His best friend Ned is the comic relief of the film, and I think he can be quite funny. There was not one moment where I thought he was out of place. He's not just there for comedic purposes. He's also there because he's his friend, and he wants to help him. The love interest Liz is basically just a love interest. Oh God, I can't think of anyone. There's like this. There's Flash, who's like the jock bully, I guess. There's one other character named MJ, which stands for Mary Jane. Yeah, and she's just kind of there most of the time. But anyways, the villains. Let's see, Thanos, Killmonger, Loki. Uh, I'll include Hela from Ragnarok. Adrian Toomes, or Vulture, played by Michael Keaton. Again, just like Peter, he's a pretty understandable character. He's not just a bad guy because he does bad guy things. He's doing it for a reason. I mean, sure, he does some pretty bad things in the film, but he's trying to do it for the family. He just wants to help out the family. He wants to make money and have savings and I'm getting that. I mean, yeah, sure, what he's doing is not good, but he's got to do something, and he's understandable. He's funny. surprisingly threatening. Even his team is actually got more of a purpose than Sonny Belch from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Even though they don't have much of a personality than Adrian, but they still kind of serve a purpose to be his right hand men whenever he needs them for anything. Happy Hogan is just there. He's just there because he's mentioned. He's just more like the character who's there now and again. Who is like I think he's like the bodyguard to Tony Stark or secretary. I don't know, but he doesn't do much. Who else? And then there's Aunt May, um, who is the aunt of Peter Parker. And okay, right. I think she's fine. I think she's good in the film. I guess she gets some motivation for Peter, and her chemistry between her and Peter is pretty believable. But okay, so that's the good stuff. All the characters are great, and there's not one bad character, which is good. Let's talk about the acting. Tom Holland as Peter Parker or Spider-Man, he's pretty believable. I think he does a great performance of the character. He doesn't go over the top or play the straight man. He's just being a kid. He's just being how Spider-Man's supposed to be, and I like that. And I think that's very good. And I think he's absolutely terrific. Michael Keaton is great as always, and I think this is probably his best performance since Birdman. Hey, what a coincidence! He plays a vulture. If you don't get the reference, then that's all I've got. Zendaya plays MJ. Was it Mary? I don't remember. But she's just kind of there just for purpose comedy. But hey, there's another reference here, and I will tell you exactly the reference when I do Venom. You'll probably see it coming, but eh. Who else? Liz is fine. Ned is actually pretty damn good. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is fine. Yeah, everyone else does a pretty grand job. Even Donald Glover's in here as well. Isn't that something? Aunt May. Oh boy. The actress who plays her, I don't know if this is just me, but I think this is probably the hottest Aunt May I've seen. I mean, geez, the jeans she's wearing is going up to her chest or something. Like, she is beautiful. I've not seen the other Spider-Man films because I am not a big fan of superhero films. If you include animated ones, then yeah. Well, I guess I'm kind of a big fan of Marvel, but yeah. I don't know if she was looking good in those, but here, she is nice. John True, who plays Happy Hogan, is pretty damn enjoyable. Even if he's not in it for long, he can get some good laughs out of me. So, all the actors here, all the characters have personalities. I think the actors pull off great performances, can bring some great comedy and some surprisingly good drama. And the characters are somewhat well developed, especially Peter and Adrian Toomes. They can be both quite funny and quite interesting, and everyone else has a good purpose, and they're not just kind of there because, even though they are, but they're in a high school, so I won't judge. They might be cliche tropes, but they play it off well, so I'll give it to that. They have exactly what they need to make some great characters and some good performances at the same time. Well, not only do I think this is one of the better Spider-Man films, I have not seen the rest, but I heard not good things about the Amazing Spider-Man. I know that the first two Spider-Man Sam Raimi films are good, but anyways, not only do I think that's that, I think it's one of the best Marvel films, and yes, I think it's better than Infinity War, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers, Age of Ultron, because this one is just trying to be its own thing and taking place in a setting that feels real and believable. It's just so fresh and so new with this character and what they're trying to do with the MCU. It feels like I'm just watching a different movie, and that's a good thing in my opinion. It's got nice It's got nice visuals. I think the Spider-Man costume looks amazing. It's funny. It's action-packed. It has a great story. It has some good characters. Spider-Man is pretty well fleshed out, and I think he's probably one of my favorite heroes in the MCU. With some pretty top-notch performances. So, if you're a Spider-Man fan, go watch it. I know there are people who have seen it, but if you want to give it a chance, please do. It's not a bad film. It's fantastic. If you like the MCU and you're not a big fan of Spider-Man like I am, give it a watch. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like Spider. I mean, in Civil War, he was probably like the best part of that movie, and Ant-Man, of course. But here, I think he's even better. Even if you don't read the comics and if you like Spider-Man enough, do watch it as well. It's still a great and fantastic film. Certainly one of Marvel's best. And I will give it a 10 out of 10. I know what I said was I know I had a little bit of complaints, but they weren't much. Alright, so next will be Venom. And I can't wait to talk about that, if it's good. I think most likely it'll just be okay at best. But anyways, do let me know what you think of Spider-Man Homecoming in the comments below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Until next time, bye for now.